Tonight's lesson is lesson 12.10, Mixed Measures. Our essential question is, how can you solve problems using mixed measures? Make sure that you write this essential question down at the top of your Go Math page, which is page 239. Let's look at our first problem. Now this problem is not in your Go Math book, but we're going to use it as an introduction to our lesson. It says Herman is building a picnic table for a new campground. The picnic table is 5 feet 10 inches long. How long is the picnic table in inches? So we know that the picnic table is 5 feet and 10 inches long, but they want to know, well, how much is that all in inches? So that's what we need to accomplish here. We need to turn our 5 feet and 10 inches long into inches. Well, I know that my 10 inches here, that's already in inches. So I can just come and bring my 10 inches over, but then I have this 5 feet. Now I know that in 1 foot, there are 12 inches in 1 foot because my measurement sheet tells me, and we've practiced that already. So I have 5 feet. So I can say 12 times 5, and that would be 60. So there are 60 inches in 5 feet. Well, now I can just come and bring my 60 inches over. So now I have 60 inches, which was the 5 feet. And now I have 10 inches. So I can add those together. 60 plus 10, well, I know that that is 70 inches. So the table is 70 inches long. Okay, let's look at problem 1 in your Go Math book on page 239. Now, it says that 8 pounds, 4 ounces, we want to know how many ounces that equals. So we're going to look and see what they did to get 132 ounces in 8 pounds, 4 ounces. Now, I'm noticing that their answer is all in ounces. So that's what they wanted to do. So we have 8 pounds and then we have 4 ounces. So it's telling me that you need to think 8 pounds equals, well, I know that in 1 pound there are 16 ounces. So what they did was 8 times 16 because they have 8 pounds. They had to change their pounds to ounces. So they said 8 times 16, well, 8 times 16 is 128 ounces. So they have their 128 ounces in 8 pounds, but then remember they have this 4 ounces here. So we needed to add 4 ounces. So 128 plus 4 ounces, and that would equal 132 ounces. So that's how they got their answer. Now you are in luck if you watch the video because tonight in our Go Math book, we are only going to do the odd problems. So we're only going to focus on numbers 3, 5, and 7. So go ahead and circle numbers 3, 5, and 7 for me. And those are the ones that we're going to work out tonight for homework. We're only going to do the odd problems. So let's look at number 3. It says 4 minutes, 45 seconds equals how many seconds? Well, I have mixed measures here, don't I? They want my answer all in seconds, but I have 4 minutes here. So what I need to do is I need to change my 4 minutes to seconds, and then I need to add my 45 seconds to the answer that I get. So what we're going to do, I know, and my conversion sheet also tells me that in 1 minute there are 60 seconds. So I have 4 minutes. So what my problem is going to look like is it's going to look like this. I'm going to have my 4 times 60 because in 1 second or 1 minute there are 60 seconds, but I have 4 minutes. Then I'm going to come in whatever I get for 4 times 60, I'm going to add 45 seconds to that, and then I'll get my answer. Well, 4 times 60, I know that 4 times 6 is 24, and then I add my 0. So 240 seconds. Now I need to add 45 seconds to that. So 240 plus 45 seconds that would get me 285 seconds. So there are 285 seconds in 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Now let's look at number 5. I want you to think. 3 tons, 600 pounds equals how many pounds? So we need to change 3 tons and 600 pounds all into pounds. So go ahead and try this problem on your own, and then I want you to press play when you've gone over the answer. Okay, let's look at number 5 together. Well, I know that I have 3 tons, 600 pounds, and I needed to change them, the 3 tons, and into pounds first. So I know that in 1 ton, there are 2,000 pounds, but I have 3 of those tons. So I would say 3 times 2,000, and then whatever my answer was to that, I would have to add my 600 pounds to that also. So 3 times 2,000, well, I know that 3 times 2 is 6, and then I just need to add my 3 zeros. So I'd have 6,000 pounds in 3 tons, and then I need to add my 600 extra pounds to that. So 600 pounds plus 6,000 pounds, I would get 6,600 pounds. So you should have got that 3 tons, 600 pounds equals 6,600 pounds. Now, I want you to pause the video again. I want you to try number 7 on your own. Press play when you're ready to go over the answer. Okay, let's look at number 7. It says 7 pounds, 12 ounces equals how many ounces? So I need to change my 7 pounds and then I need to ounces, and then I need to add my extra 12 ounces. Well, my measurement sheet tells me, which you should have out also, it tells you that in 1 pound there are 16 ounces. Well, I have 7 pounds, so I should first start with 16 times 7, and then I'm going to add my extra 12 ounces to that. Well, 16 times 7, I know that 6 times 7 is 42, and 7 times 1 is 7, plus 4 is 11. So I should have 112. 112 plus my extra 12 ounces, you should have 124 ounces. So there are 124 ounces in 7 pounds, 12 ounces. I hope your answers came out just like mine. Okay, let's look at our next problem. Now remember, I promised you that we're only going to do the odd numbers on our Go Math page 239. So I'm only going to do number 9 with you. You don't have to do numbers 8 and number 10. So let's look at number 9. It says 12 pounds, 5 ounces minus 7 pounds, 10 ounces. Now we could do it the same way that we did before and change our pounds and then add the ounces, and then change our 7 pounds and then add the ounces to that. And so that we're all out of ounces, and then we can subtract. But that could take a lot of extra work, and we could mess up on our subtraction. So I'm going to show you a different way to work out this problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract, and we're going to have to regroup. Now it's different though from regular subtraction with whole numbers, since we're doing it out of pounds and ounces. So make sure that you're paying attention to how we're going to solve the problem. So it says 5 ounces minus 10 ounces. Well, I can't do that. I need to regroup. Okay, so I'm going to take away 1 pound from my 12 pounds, and I'm going to make that 11 pounds. Now, since I took away that 1 pound from my 12 pounds to make it 11 pounds, I need to add a pound to my 5 ounces. Now, in order to do that, you need to understand that in 1 pound, there are 16 ounces. That's how many ounces are in 1 pound. So since I took away 1 pound from my 12 pounds, I need to add a pound to my 5 ounces, which equals 16 ounces. So I would say 16 plus 5. Well, 16 plus 5 is 21 ounces. So now I have 21 ounces minus 10 ounces. I can do that. 21 minus 10 would be 11 ounces. So I have 11 ounces here. Now I can say 11 pounds minus 7 pounds is 4 pounds. So my final answer would be 4 pounds, 11 ounces. Now, if you want, you can try 8 and numbers 10 for extra practice, but you don't have to. Make sure that you circled number 9 for me because that's the one that we worked on together. Okay, let's look at number 11. Remember, only the odd questions. Circle number 11 for me. It says Michael's basketball team practiced for 2 hours and 40 minutes yesterday and 3 hours and 15 minutes today. How much longer did the team practice today than yesterday? Now, I know that how much longer means that I'm going to subtract. And then when we see today, then yesterday, that also means subtract. So I'm going to subtract 2 hours and 40 minutes. I'm going to subtract that from 3 hours and 15 minutes. So I have my 3 hours and 15 minutes. And I'm going to subtract 2 hours and 40 minutes from that. Now, we could do the regrouping way on this question, but I also want to show you how to do it if you changed it all to minutes. So remember, this is 15 minutes and this is 40 minutes. So let's see if we change it all to minutes, and then we could just subtract it just like that. So I know that I have 3 hours and 15 minutes. So I'm going to change my 3 hours to minutes. I know that in 1 hour there's 60 minutes, so I would say 3 times 60 is 180 minutes. And now I have my extra 15 that I need to add to that. So 180 plus 15, that equals 195 minutes. I changed my 3 hours and 15 minutes to 195 minutes. Now I have my 2 hours and 40 minutes. So I know that in 2 hours there are 120 minutes. So I would have 120 plus my 40, which would give me 160 minutes. Now I can subtract. Because remember, that's what my goal is in the end, is to subtract. I have 195 minus 160. So I could bring down my 5. 9 minus 6 is 3. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So I have a 35-minute difference. That is how much longer the team practiced today than yesterday. Here are your homework problems for tonight. Make sure that you do number 1 and 2 on your page 240 in your Go Math book, and then it says that you need to make sure that you're answering all of the questions on page 240. So we're going to make sure that we're answering all of them. Then when you get done with your homework problems, don't forget to assess yourself and write your assessment level at the top of your Go Math page. Here are your homework problems for tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. We'll do a lot of practice with this in class tomorrow. Bye!